Well, Erik Ten Hag has held his press conference ahead of our game against Tottenham Hotspur, and we've gone ahead to really gate it all here for you, and we're going to break it down and really give our thoughts as far as his thoughts are really concerned into this mix. Welcome to United Matters channel. How are you guys and where you watching us from? I go by the names of Rock and David. Smash the like button, comment and share. But the headlines are all about Bruno injury hope dropped ahead of the Spurs game. Remember, he really got off the field of play in I think towards the end of the game, and he never even took penalties because he got injured in the first half and pushed on, but obviously found himself in a position of not being able to play a full 120 minutes. Then Harry Kane threat, Erik Ten Hag is going to have to really address it into the game, and the setback of Spurs of 6-1 away at Newcastle and how it can come in through and obviously try to really help them as how do we call it? It's called a roller coaster, you know. So, and they really all a springboard, and they really spring back to Manchester United and see us losing those points. Then lots of things have been talked about and other players of United that you're going to tackle into this mix. Let's see close to 100 likes smash on this video as we get into what Ten Hag talked about. It was all about the team news, but I think Bruno Fernandes was the new talk of town because of the injury that he really sustained, and we saw him really in a protective boot for the previous 1 or 2 days ever since we played down in Wembley on Sunday. Now, Ten Hag told us that there are some unavailable. Lisandro Martinez, Rafael Varane. We have to see how Bruno Fernandes is. We don't know yet. He's a question mark. I think for the rest, we are quite okay. It's more often the players that we protect them, prevention, but it has to settle down. So we all have seen he played the full game and it happened in the first half. But Thursday is tomorrow. It's quick, but we have to see what is possible. So the players that are really out, Rafael Varane, Lisandro Martinez, and very many others. But today's spotlight was so much directed to Bruno Fernandes' absentia. That's it. And Erik Ten Hag has come out and really put out a very huge statement about Bruno Fernandes on why he was putting on the protective boot, because most of us were so much shocked on seeing him putting in a protective boot, because every player that's gonna hate to put in a protective boot for United this season has found himself missing out for like a minimum of 2 months. The first one was Eriksson, if I'm not mistaken. Eriksson spent close to 2 months out. Garnacho close to 6 weeks out, and the other one is Lisandro Martinez, and his season was really called off. He's going to return in the preseason. That is Lisandro Martinez. For you saw when we saw Bruno Fernandes into that protective boot, we got to know that something is happening. Something is not happening right now here onto the squad of United, and we are all afraid. But obviously, Ten Hag is going to have to give us a lot of hope that Bruno Fernandes is really great. And I've seen Molok Mira, a very good journalist close to Manchester United, ever since Erik Ten Hag came in through, and he has told us that this guy is here. The guy wants, that today he was going to hate to see Bruno Fernandes, and Bruno Fernandes was at Carrington with his son and was not putting on the protective boot, meaning that there might be huge progress and response into Bruno Fernandes' injury to see to it that he really captains United as we play against Spurs tomorrow. To me, I would love to see him in because he has gonna have to score quite a lot of goals against Spurs, you know. And secondly, he's a leader. We miss his leadership skills. Though there is Sabitzer, Eriksson, Fred, and Casemiro, and can get this job done and dusted, but you'd love to see Bruno Fernandes. More especially, having Martial and Marcus Rashford fit, you would love to see Bruno Fernandes playing behind them, because that trio knows each other like a book. You know, Bruno reads the runs of Martial very well, and Rashford, because this is the 3rd year in a row they've been playing together, meaning that you would not love to miss out on Bruno Fernandes in such a scenario. And all what you would go on and really call in for is simple: come in and really let everything done and dusted by that trio. So to me, I think Bruno returning will be a very huge boost as we play against Tottenham Hotspur. But even Erik Ten Hag is a manager who's not going to go out and really force those players to come onto the field of play anyhowly like that. Now, let's do a little bit of Harry Kane. Erik Ten Hag said the following about Harry Kane. It's quite clear his impact on the game. on the game for Spurs, and we have a plan, of course, for that. And in the home game, we did very well. So yeah, for tomorrow, we need a very good plan as well. You have to defend as a team, and he's a clever player, so don't allow him to come in the situations where he can have a big impact on the game. That is it. So Ten Hag really knows the threat of Harry Kane, and I'm not going to be surprised if at all we see social media going awash that Ten Hag has really gone ahead to hint onto the signing of Harry Kane and why he wants to sign him. Because when you look at all the reasons, Ten Hag has gone ahead to give, bloggers, sports pundits will go out and really refer to them that they really want, that Ten Hag really wants to sign him. Ole has gone ahead and really showed his desire on signing the player known as Harry Kane, because he has gone ahead and really said that you have to defend as a team, and he's a clever player, so don't allow him to come into the situations where he can have a big impact on the game. So that is Erik Ten Hag for you, and I think it's really something that you would not really rule out of Harry Kane, because he has gone ahead to score 24 goals this season in the Premier League, and he's really firing all cylinders when it comes to scoring in goals. Amidst his team struggling, he has found himself in a situation of scoring. Even when they lost 6-1 to Newcastle over the weekend, guess who came in through and really scored that one goal? It was Harry Kane. So I think Ten Hag is right, because you don't want to give Harry Kane any chance to really go through and even score. And I think the best way to deny him a chance is to field Luke Shaw and Lindelof into the central defense positions. That's it. That should be our central defense partnership to take on a man known as Harry Kane, because if you don't go ahead and really block him with those two players and bring in Harry Maguire, then he'll find himself in a situation of really haunting us in there. Now, Ten Hag has gone ahead and really hinted about the character of United players ever since we lost in the Premier League against Newcastle. Remember, this season we lost to Newcastle as soon as we returned from the international break, but ever since then we've gone ahead to register wins after wins into this beautiful game of football. Remember, we won against Brentford 1-0, we beat Everton 2-0, and went ahead to beat Nottingham Forest by 2-0. 3 clean sheets kept in a row. That shows you how good we've gone ahead to really bounce back ever since that 2-0 loss at Newcastle. Then Ten Hag has said they are resilient, so they are able to do it. It's not easy, but they can do it. Now we have to make the next step to do it also in the games when you get a setback. Maybe you didn't have a bad luck, but then also show the character and personality so that in the game you bounce back. So Ten Hag is going to have to hail his players that are resilient, and they are relentless. They don't give up, because this season setbacks have been part of Erik Ten Hag's talk. At the start of the season, we found ourselves in a situation of really losing 2 games. Brighton 2-1 at Old Trafford, 4-0 away at Brentford. You remember that very well. But we went ahead to return back and hit Liverpool. We beat Everton. We beat Southampton, Leicester City. We beat Arsenal. You understand? We got another setback of Man City 6-3, and then we returned back with the bang, beat very many teams in there for you. We get a setback of Aston Villa 3-1, then 7-0 against Liverpool. So it has all been about us getting setbacks, but the way we've gone ahead to address those setbacks is really so much important and sounding to the eyes and ears of many, because this time round you can really come out and really bait on United, because we are a team that has gone ahead to really put in effort after effort as far as this game of football are really concerned, and Ten Hag is really addressing that left, right and center. Now Ten Hag is so much vocal, always so much vocal in the press conference about the setback of Spurs, and that setback is all about getting 6-1. And that question followed after he was asked about the setback that United got against Newcastle, and we bounced back and we've gone ahead to win 3 games on the row. And he said it was not so often, we had to bounce back, definitely, but all the great teams, even Real Madrid, have setbacks, but obviously Spurs had a really bad defeat, and of course they are mad, and that can be fuel for bouncing back. But like I said, it's about us. An opponent can never be more hungry than we are. That is how we have to prepare for the game, and we have to be ready to go on the front foot and be dominant and dictate the game. So, I like the way this manager really makes or addresses his points, because he has gone ahead and really talked about how this setback Spurs got over the weekend by losing 6-1 to Newcastle can come out and affect United negatively, because it can really act as a springboard for Spurs to raise and really cause havoc to Manchester United. But on the other side, he has said that, like he has always said, an opponent can never be more hungry than we are. You know, Spurs have a match they've beaten 6-1 away at St. James's Park. That cannot put them in the same ilk of hunger with United. You know, that is how we have to prepare for the game, and I was gone ahead to really tell his players that we have to play on the front foot and dominate and dictate the game. Do you know what that means? Dominate, dictate the game, and play the front foot. It's like commanding the players that we should go all out and attack a side known as Tottenham Hotspur. And I think it's really something that you will always not want to really not hear when every Ten Hag is talking about. That is all about being proactive, because this is one of the things that Ten Hag is going to have to address on several occasions, on us being a proactive team and playing direct football and obviously having control over the full game. And he is trying the level best to do it for himself, and obviously throw in the necessary weapons that can really stop United from being beaten by side known as Tottenham Hotspur. But I think he's really great and obviously doing the best that he deserves about Tottenham Hotspur. And I think that is really a very good indicator from Erik ten Hag, because he's just a manager who really believes that we should win every game. And I think he respects the opponents, and after respecting the opponents, he really has a lot of advice to tell them. And lastly, when asked about Spurs and how they can really step back and bounce back into that game as we take them on, he said, no, but I'm not in the position. I'm not the Spurs manager. I'm a Manchester United manager, and we are in another place. But I have to make sure that our players are ready tomorrow and facing a good opponent. It's a good team, good players, and we are in a certain circumstance, and I have to make sure that they have energy and are on the front foot to go into the battle. That's Erik ten Hag for you. And lastly, he was asked about how impactful this game is for the top four race. He said it's really important. Why? Spurs are at 53 points. We are 6 points ahead of them, and they've gone ahead to play 2 more games than us. If we beat them at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium tomorrow, that will take us to 62 points. Having 62 points, that will be 9 points in between us and Spurs. If at all you go ahead and really win the 2 games we have in hand, we'll have stretched 15 points behind Tottenham. 15 points ahead of Tottenham Hotspur. That really skyrockets us through the roof. That's it. So I think that's how important this game of football is for Spurs versus Manchester United. So guys, your thoughts on to Bruno injury hope are welcome into the comment section below, and then Harry Kane threat addressed by Erik ten Hag in the presser that's going to have to hold at Carrington as he prepares for the game of Spurs tomorrow. So I sign out for now. See you later, and I cover you all in the precious blood of Jesus Christ. Second video of the day, and I think you've gonna hate to enjoy it. I think I'm returning with a story about Alejandro Garnacho and very many other players that United is really looking at to sign into the summer transfer window. Lots of stories are really coming in through Harry Kane and very many others. So I would like to really come back and really address you onto that. I'm out for now. See you later.